It's an unusual title for a video, isn't it? Though animals are often kept in cages and enclosures to prevent them from hurting people, some adventurous individuals aren't afraid to venture into these cages themselves. But why do they do it, and what are the potential consequences of such an encounter? Today, you'll find out and witness it firsthand. In this video, I'll be showcasing some of the most astounding cases of people ending up in animal cages. Let's dive in. All for the sake of the phone. Recently, a revealing incident took place in a Chinese zoo. A young man was attempting to take a photo with the monkeys, and in the process, he accidentally dropped his phone into the monkey enclosure. To retrieve it, he decided to enter the enclosure, but as soon as he stepped in, the monkeys attacked him. The zoo workers had to intervene to save him from the monkey attack. Although the man was able to retrieve his phone, it begs the question whether the risk was worth it. Would you risk entering an enclosure with wild animals for a gadget or do something smarter? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Moreover, there are many other similar cases where people have ended up in animal cages, enclosures, and even swimming pools, so stay tuned for more incredible stories. Strange intruder. In India, a man decided to test his nerves in a very strange way. The daredevil jumped over the 6-meter-high wall of the local zoo into the enclosure with the tigers. Inside, he took off his t-shirt and started pacing from corner to corner, clearly trying to annoy the inhabitants of the cage. The performance of the man, who according to journalists was quite drunk, lasted about 45 minutes. During this time, the intruder managed to walk, dance, sit in a lotus position, and drink some liquid from a bottle, which he had thoughtfully brought with him. Surprisingly, during all this time, the tigers in the enclosure did not react at all to the antics of the stranger. Moreover, they hastened to get into the interior of the enclosure, where the guards had locked them up. As for the tiger lover, he was dragged out of the enclosure by the police. About the maternal instinct. Animal video fans may be familiar with the incident that occurred at Cincinnati Zoo, where a gorilla protected a boy who had fallen into the enclosure from other gorillas. The gorilla waited patiently for rescuers to arrive and help the boy. This event is often considered a happy coincidence, but there are other cases that demonstrate that gorillas do not harm children, even when they unexpectedly find themselves in their territory. One such case took place in Illinois in August 1996. The circumstances were similar, with a boy falling into the gorilla enclosure, but this time the boy was miraculously unharmed. The maternal instinct of the gorilla kicked in, and she carefully picked up the 3-year-old boy, carrying him to the door through which zoo workers usually entered the enclosure. The boy was fortunate to have not been seriously injured and did not need to be hospitalized for a long time. The mother and son chose to remain anonymous, but the gorilla became a TV star. Unexpected rescue. Sometimes it's the wild animals you find yourself alone with that turns out to be the only creature which can help. A beluga whale saved the life of a diving girl paralyzed by the cold water in an ice-cold pool. The case took place in the Chinese city of Harbin at a diving competition in the Polar Land Aquarium, home to beluga whales. Participants had to dive to the bottom of the deep pool without breathing apparatus and stay underwater as long as possible. 26-year-old diver Yang Yan felt her leg cramped up due to the extremely low temperature after a 4-meter dive. She realized she was suddenly no longer able to make it to the surface. Meanwhile, the great depth and narrow bottom of the pool made it very difficult for the judges to spot serious problems in time. However, the beluga whale called Mila, which lived in the pool, noticed Yang Yan's troubles just in time. It used its sensitive nose to gently push the girl out of the water. Once the girl was pulled out of the water, she was given first aid. As Yang Yan said later, she overestimated her own strength and was grateful that the beluga whale saved her life. Tiger protects man. In 2016, a near tragedy occurred at a Mexican big cat rehabilitation center. Eduardo Cirio, the center's founder and employee, was almost attacked by the leopard Dharma. Despite the predators being well-fed and accustomed to Cirio's presence, the attack was unexpected. Sirio often visited the enclosures to communicate with the big cats, and it was during one of these visits that the incident occurred. In the footage, Sirio is seen interacting with white lions, unaware that Dharma was slowly approaching him from behind. Fortunately, a tiger named Atslan, who also resided in the enclosure, intervened and saved Sirio from the leopard's attack. It's unclear whether Atslan was truly trying to protect Sirio or if the leopard's attack simply triggered its hunting instinct. What are your thoughts on this? A piece of beauty. What do you think are the animals in the zoo that suffer most from human attacks? If statistics are to be believed, peacocks are among the leaders. It would seem that the enclosures where these birds are kept are always surrounded by netting. That's right, but the most courageous visitors of the zoos, who want to take with them at least a piece of peacock feather, don't think about such trifles. Just recently, several young people got into a cage with peacocks in one of China's zoos. They all began to pluck the tail feathers and tried so hard that the unfortunate birds had almost nothing left. After that, the cages with the birds were taken under heavy guard. I wonder what the ignorant thieves did with the feathers. Did they put them in a vase at home? In a cage with a crocodile? Everyone knows that many dangerous creatures inhabit Australia, but it appears that some residents still seek excitement in their lives. Recently, a heavily intoxicated individual entered a reptile cage at a local zoo and miraculously survived after being bitten by a crocodile. The crocodile, which was one of the largest species in the world, surprisingly let the intruder escape after biting his leg. The reason for the crocodile's behavior remains unknown, but some zoologists believe that the cool weather in Australia that day may have made the crocodile sluggish and more reliant on zoo-provided food. The daring individual explained that he simply wanted to pet the crocodile, but he clearly took a foolish risk that could have ended badly. The lion whisperer. It is possible to become a true conjurer for wild predators and enter a cage without fear, and even play with animals that would rather eat any stranger for dinner. Zoologist Kevin Richardson is living proof of this phenomenon. For over 20 years, Kevin has lived side by side with hyenas, lions, cheetahs, and leopards. Very dangerous wild animals easily accept him into their packs and prides. At the same time, Richardson does not use traditional cruel methods of training like intimidating animals with sticks and chains. Instead, he uses love, understanding, and trust to establish a friendly relationship with the big predators. He can safely sleep next to a lion, put a hyena in his car, or swim with a huge lioness, which can easily drown Kevin. There are dozens or even hundreds of videos of Kevin entering the cages of Africa's most dangerous animals on the internet. However, Kevin did not become a successful scientist with the proud title of the Lion Whisperer right away. His childhood was not a good one, and after school, he changed his mind several times about what he wanted to do with his life. Only by the age of 23, after trying several educational institutions and a lot of part-time jobs, Kevin found his calling. The new place of work for the restless explorer was the Lion Park, where he was hired as a caretaker. At the time, he tried to tame his first lions. The choice fell on 2 juvenile males. It was not an easy task to tame a grown-up animal, especially for a man with absolutely no experience. But despite the big risks, Kevin managed to make friends with the big cats. Tom and Napoleon became his first friends among lions. The tamer played freely and even slept together with the 2 adult males. However, unconditional love is out of the question here. From his experience, Richardson confidently states that their friendship does not make the lions any less dangerous. In spite of their good relationship, Kevin never wakes up the predators or disturbs them when they're eating because animals can pounce out of fear. Kevin respects the privacy of his predatory friends. That's all, guys. Would you like to tame a lion or another big cat? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.